Hello, welcome to the Story Pilgrim, episode 9 of season 2. Natalie Rozon, Full Circle. Now this is an extra special. It's just a really special episode for me, and you will find out very quickly as to why. I won't give too much away. Please, before we dive in, subscribe and share this with someone. This, hopefully, you will find inspirational. Natalie is a friend from my past that I haven't seen for a very long time, that has been very influential on my life. And I was so grateful to spend some time with her. I'll just dive in and let you listen. Here's Natalie.
I'm nervous now. I'm out of breath. Go for it. It's funny.
Go.
Are you already taping?
I do it.
Oh my God. Yeah. You're going to cut that part. Okay, I'm starting. 1, 2, 3. Hi, my name is Natalie. We are in Montreal, Quebec, Canada right now. I came here today because my friend Darren from a long time that I met a long time ago on a cruise ship, Celebrity Cruise in 2000, is in Montreal for a stopover. And after 26 years, we're meeting again today. So it's a very incredible, amazing, beautiful day. And we had a blast spending almost 3 hours at the breakfast place this morning. And so my name is Natalie, and I work for Canada. I've worked for airlines many years, and I'm heading back to Air Canada in 2 weeks again. And I've worked on cruise ship. I've worked in different hotels. I'm happy to see my friend Darren today, that I've met, like I said, on a cruise ship 26 years ago. It's very great to catch up on all those years. And what else can I say?
Well, there's a lot that we can say. So, what were you doing when we met on the cruise ships? I know what you were doing.
I was working as a guest relation officer on Celebrity Cruise, and I was hired to work there 6 months. And when I was hired, they told me that I would be working in the Caribbean, so I only packed light stuff, you know.
Yeah.
And finally, after a while, I'm being told at the front desk that we have a repositioning cruise for 12 days. And I'm like, what's a repositioning cruise? And they tell me, well, we're going to Panama and then we're going to Alaska. And I'm like, Alaska? Alaska? I'm like, okay, I only have sandals, T-shirts and camisoles and shorts. So I was thinking that was a joke. No, they told me seriously they were going to Alaska.
Yeah.
So I had the first days that we were in Alaska. In fact, I had to purchase all those tourist clothing and saying Alaska, Ketchikan, Skagway, and pay, a lot of money just because it says Alaska on it.
Yeah.
Until I asked my parents to ship me back in Vancouver some, warmer clothes. So that was kind of funny. I didn't expect that at that time. But it was a great thing that I went to Alaska because that's when I met you, Darren.
Yeah, and that's where I joined the ship. I joined it up in Vancouver. And as I've said this morning, I don't have much recollection of that time. And there's only 2 people that I really remember, you being one of them, and Rinku, one of your people that you worked with,
colleague, yeah,
who now lives in Birmingham, that I haven't seen her since we left, and she's closer, and it's been 26 years since we've seen each other.
I have not seen her either. We communicate with Facebook the very first months, I should say, when I left, but nothing since then. So it would be nice also to get in touch with her.
Yeah. Now I have recollection of being on board the ship, and you were working in guest relations, but I remember one evening walking past one of the lounges, I think it was, and I heard this beautiful singing voice, and I popped my head in, and it was you. What's that element of? Do you want to tell people about that side of your life?
Yeah, we had on board the cruise ship a cappella band that were singing. And one night, the formal nights we were as staff, we had the right to dress, like really chic, and we had the right to go and, mix up and go to the bars and disco and dance. And my friends asked me if I wanted to sing with them, and I told them that I had a CD done, like with a mix, and I sang a portion of that with them. And I didn't know that, but I had a blast that night. And the next day, the hotel manager is coming to tell me that, Natalie, you were not hired to be with the singers and the band, and you're not supposed to do that. But he said, by the way, it was incredible and amazing. So I felt like, oh, I'm sorry, I felt shy about that, but then I laughed about it. It was a blast. So that was a fun experience.
But where does that singing come from for you personally?
Oh, well, since I was like maybe 12 years old, I always loved like music and, R&B and soul essentially. And that's why my nickname was Soul Singer. And essentially, I never had any course or class for that. I just have the voice that I have. And my idol was, not my fan, but my idol was Whitney Houston. Mm-hmm. And, I started singing her song, and different things happened in my life. And I started to sing with a band when I was at high school. And then at CEGEP, I did also with a band. It was called Second Floor. Uh-huh. And after that, I was doing some, shows, weddings, and corporate events. And I did that for a while. But now, I'm retired for that. It was just for fun. It was always for fun. But it came like that since I'm very young. And I liked it. I always loved music, still do. And but never wanted to do it as a career.
Why did you never want to pursue that as a career?
It was just a hobby, and this is a very sharky business, right? In America, I mean, if you want to become Ariana Grande style or any other famous pop star, everything comes with it, right? There's a price to pay, and it was not me, not my style, not my goal in life. Okay. But I really enjoyed that time,
Yeah.
I was appreciated. Apparently, I was okay. I was good, You
are very good. You not were. You are very good. So that brings me around to a very selfish question. What do you remember about me?
So Darren, I remember you made me laugh because of your accent from Blackpool, first of all. Me, French, Quebecer, Canadian. I have my accent as well, and I remember you really made me laugh. Sometimes I was having a hard time just trying to understand what you were telling me.
Yeah, that's understandable.
Yes. Yeah. And also, I do remember that you're a bit shy and everything, and we're talking about theater and singing. We started talking about singing, right?
Yeah.
And then I remember that, I encouraged you, started to encourage you, really from the start, try to push you to, to have self-confidence on you. And I mentioned to you that you should pursue your dream because life happens, and if you wait for the perfect time, perfect moment, it's never going to happen. Whatever you like or you feel in your soul, you have to go get it and do whatever you need to do.
Yeah.
And I'm very happy you did.
Yeah. I told you earlier, because we've been sat down having breakfast all morning, that you have been brought up in so many conversations that I've had since we met, because you are one of the few people in my life who has done that, has encouraged me, has believed me, has had confidence in me.
Yes,
and I will never forget that. And I have been on such a journey since then that I can't thank you enough, because it really, you're very special to me.
That touched me a lot, but I'm so happy I did, and I'm so happy you did, and you follow your dream, and I'm so happy if I made a difference. I'm very, very, very touched by that. And
a huge difference. And that kind of it's interesting for me to ask you about your singing and how you're like, oh, it's just a hobby, it's just something, and you're very good at it. And I believe with my journey that I've had that you too still could do that if you wanted to. But if you don't want to, it's is fascinating. That's what fascinates me about life. It's like
Yes.
how we all have such different directions
Yes. Yes.
in it all.
I was asked when I was about not even 18 or around 18 years old, but there's a man, because I did an advertisement on the radio for like a car company. It's called Hyundai Gabriel here in Quebec, and I had to say like the address. It was like something like Hyundai Gabriel, service exceptionnel. And then I was saying 7020 Henri Bourassa West. I still remember the address today. I don't know if they moved or... But that was it. It was just, just a radio advertisement, like a 10-second thing.
Yeah.
But then I sang for fun because I was in a recording studio. It was great. I sang like a Whitney Houston song, and somebody saw me. And they had called me like 2 months after and tell me that, I have an amazing voice and they wanted to do something and blah, blah, blah. And was talking to bring me in New York, and I was, barely 18 years old. My mom said, "No way, Jose,"
Did she?
So, of course not. I would have done the same thing for my daughter. I mean, not going with an incognito there,
Yeah.
And, I knew that this is like a very sharky business, I call it, meaning, it's not easy. It's,
Yeah.
everything that comes with it. So, no, I never went farther.
Yeah.
But like I said, for me, it was just more a hobby. But I'm happy for you. You went and you did theater and all that came after that. So that's for me, it's really a huge success. And I'm very happy I contributed in a way I didn't know. Because, that was sincere and I meant it. And I'm really grateful for seeing you again today and that you're telling me this. Like, I'm really blessed for that. And I thank you a lot.
Thank you.
It means a lot to me.
And you've mentioned your daughter since you're a mum.
Yes,
now.
I'm a mom now.
How is that? How's that changed your perspective?
Completely changed my life. It's the day for me, first of all, I had the most wonderful parents, heart on their sleeves, I don't know if that's how we say it in English, but anyways, very good soul-hearted people.
Yeah.
The most amazing parents, so much love all my life, and I'm doing like the same exactly with my daughter.
Yeah.
And going, as she's getting older, whatever. Now I understand my mom. Yeah. When I was a teenager or whatever, I could relate now to what my mom felt or what, there's phases sometime, like there's ups and downs in the mother's life. And of course, now I can relate to and understand how my mom could have, felt how she was during certain times of my life.
Sure.
And that I lost my parents, both parents now, so recently, like the last couple of years. So I'm even like much closer to my daughter, and I just don't want to keep things for myself. Like we're expressing each other's feeling, emotion. We're going through things together. Yeah. We're very close. Very, very close together. Like, she doesn't need to tell me anything. I know if something's wrong, I can read her.
Sure.
I mean, she was in my belly for 9 months, right? So
yeah.
And you share it. It's true. Apparently, like there's cells and everything that you keep in your body as a mother, even years after you gave birth. There's something that cannot be explained, but just felt between a mother and daughter. Yeah. Like the bond, and I'm sure it's the same if I would have a boy.
Yeah.
But that's amazing. That's just amazing.
If you don't have to talk about this if you don't want to, you mentioned that you said your parents passed away.
Yes.
Over the last few years. Did that change anything with you and your relationship, or not necessarily your relationship, but your outlook on life now?
Absolutely.
They've moved on.
Absolutely. Again, I'm getting back to the fact that it's so important to live in the present moment. Mm-hmm. To, I don't know, savor, it doesn't say savor in English, I cannot say that, but I mean to really enjoy and, be in the present moment. I think it's really important. Yeah. And I'm trying to let know my daughter, not putting pressure on her in that sense. She's young, she has to live her life and be wild and whatever. Yeah. Have experience in life like we all did when we were younger. Yeah. But just that she understands that honestly, like, in a day, your life can change anytime. Yeah. Regardless if it's, whatever happened in your life, it could change in a day, in a second. So enjoy to the fullest every single day. Share your emotions, say what's wrong, say what's right, and whatever. Be thankful and grateful for everything good in your life. and try just to change do something good for somebody every day.
Yeah.
Just surround yourself with positive people, and that's important. I lost both my parents that were extremely important people. I was talking to them every single day. And it's a big hole. You feel like you have a huge hole in your body, like this missing half of my heart, you know?
Yeah.
So I take care more also of myself because of all of that, because I've given so much. I took care of everybody all the time.
Yeah.
And at one point I got sick because of all of this and the stress and everything happening in your life. So it made me realize the last years that, it's not being selfish to take care of yourself. You have to take care of yourself at one point. It's you cannot pour from an empty cup, you guys say, right?
How did that come about, that realization? Was it just a matter of time, or was there anything that...
I think all those last 4.5 years with all those situations, like the loss and, I was sick also, my heart issues and the stress and everything in my life with COVID and menopause all at the same time.
Yeah.
At one point you need to stop and let go because your body's talking to you, right? I gotten sick.
Yeah.
So it made me realize it's time to let go of certain things.
Yeah.
I'm also usually I'm a very well organized and planned person, but there's things that you need to let go because you cannot control everything.
Yeah.
And until you realize that, well, that's where the problem is sometimes, and you get health issue,
Yeah.
So I've learned through that the last years, and honestly, there's a big step now that I'm far from what I used to be in that sense, and I think it's what's helped me now to feel better and feel more free. And I'm listening to myself, and I'm giving time to myself sometimes, because I'm always thinking and taking care of everything and everybody.
Yeah.
But now I'm not ashamed to say that I need my time sometimes, and I do it now, which is great.
I realized that growing up as a teenager, I spent a lot of time, I think as most teenagers do, listening to music. I escaped into music, and I lost that as an adult, and I kind of I don't know why, life got in the way, and I stopped listening to music. And so I try now to make a conscious effort of not just listening to it in the car, but just have it, because that's music for me is a great healer. It really does take me off one.
It
but
is.
How, all of what you've just spoken about, as a parent, how do you teach that? Do you teach it, or do you have to let...
I always send those things you see on Facebook or whatever. I'm old-fashioned there, but I mean, there's the reels that you're seeing, and I'm following things that are more like spiritual, with thoughts and things that just remind you. And I always send certain of those things to my daughter just to remind her that even if she's young or whatever, she has to take the time. And some of those thoughts are, I believe, really good. And I'm sharing that with my daughter.
Yeah.
And I speak with her sometimes, and, we have a sit, just a couple of minutes, we just chill. And, I always try to pass the message in the sense that it always comes down to, as long as you don't hurt anybody, you're a good person. Do whatever your heart tells you to do, or whatever you really want to do.
Yeah.
It's the same as, she's 17 soon, so she's going to start her new life, and she's going to eventually have a career. But I told her last night, actually, in life, I'm never going to put pressure, on my child to be, I don't know, an attorney or, a dentist or a doctor. Back in the days when my parents were, the old days, the people were more thinking like that. But my parents always told me, do whatever you like, what you're passionate about and what you like, because you're going to work your whole life. So rather do something that you like and you're passionate about, so you're not going to count the hours you're working, because you're going to love what you do. And I said the same thing to my daughter. I repeated it.
You said the same thing to me.
Yeah.
And that was 26 years ago, and now we are the same age. There's
yes.
2 weeks difference between us.
Yes.
We were 29, 30 when we met. Here we are, 55, about to turn 56.
Yep.
Does it feel any different to you?
In my mind, I'm like 30, 35, but
Yeah.
my body's telling me, yeah, right, good luck.
Isn't it?
Nice try.
Isn't it?
But I don't, honestly, like, I know it's been 26 years. We have not seen each other, but see, we've been chatting since the last 3 hours, and
Yeah.
I don't feel like it's been 26 years,
It
you
doesn't,
know?
does it?
It doesn't feel like it. Like, okay,
When
maybe
you look
10
at the
years.
photographs, it does.
Yeah, of course, absolutely.
But it
Need a
doesn't, does it?
facelift.
And that's what I feel. I read something the other day. The worst part of my mid-30s is realising I'm actually in my mid-50s. Because I don't feel what this age is.
Yes, I know.
It's really strange. And yeah, I get very frustrated with that.
It
Right.
is. It is.
Well,
People are telling me I'm happy because, you know, well, I'm a woman. I don't know if I'm supposed to say that sometimes we're more like concerned about our appearance and things like that. But everywhere I go, like I was lately hired back at Air Canada Vacation, and the team there is pretty young, right? I could be their mom, basically.
Yeah.
So, and half of them, like every time we talk about age or whatever, and I let them know that I've worked, so many years, and so they ask me, how old are you? And I'm like, I'm going to be 56 soon. They all think I'm 45. So I'm very happy.
Yeah.
When this happens, I'm like, okay,
Oh,
well, I'll
nice.
take that compliment. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
So I get a little boost for a couple of days, But then my body in the morning tells me, no, you're 56 soon.
Yeah, exactly. So you've got this new chapter starting soon.
Yes.
With Air Canada.
Yeah.
What's that? You're very excited about that. There's a lot of energy around that. What's next?
Well, I've worked 22 and a half years back in the days for Air Canada, different department, different position, essentially at the airport in Montreal. And unfortunately, in 2011, beginning of 2012, there was a lot of restructuration, and the position I was working at was moving to Winnipeg, and I didn't want to go there, unfortunately. And because there was a lot of restructuration, closure of certain departments, I had lost my job after 22 and a half years, so that was a very difficult time.
Yeah.
And, I had a baby during that time, so I went to work in another field for 11 years, and now I always wanted to go back, so I'm happy to say that I got a job, and I'm starting on June 6th. And I'm going back to Air Canada again. So it's like going back home. It's like a full circle, like we're saying previously. So I'm very happy. I'm just keeping my finger crossed. All will be fine. But I'm very excited about that.
Does that make you feel young again in a way? Is that
just
right to
feel
say?
like going back home. Honestly, I feel like I'm going back home. And I don't know. If this all goes right, which I hope, it's going to be until my retirement. And,
Yeah. And your daughter's about to start.
Yes, my daughter's following my field, so she's going to the same CEGEP, and she's going to be, following a bit what I was doing. So she'd like to work for an airline, travel, or, in hotels and management or things like that, customer service. But essentially, she'd like to work for an airline company. So.
Okay, right. Well, you might end up working together.
Yeah, or, helping her to get a job there.
Yeah.
Once she's done with CEGEP.
Right, well, I said 15 minutes, we've probably done a lot longer than that. Thank you. Again,
You're very welcome.
I can't express to you how much you have done for me, and I just wanted to make it formal to say you're amazing, and thank you so much. It
Thank
means so
you,
much.
Darren, and I'm so happy for you, so happy that you got a hold of me so we could see each other today in this 24-hour turnaround. Thank you so much, sincerely.
Let's just not leave it 26 years before
No,
we see each other again.
no, this time no.
Because then we'll be 82.
Let's not think about it.
A huge big thank you to Natalie for making time on this national holiday here in Canada, Victoria Day, celebrating Queen Victoria. I did tell Natalie, you do realise that she's dead. But thank you to her partner, to Danielle, to her daughter for allowing Natalie to have a few moments just for us to spend some time together. Natalie gave me my original headshots that I first took in Vancouver. I thought I'd lost them, and she's just I'd sent them to Natalie. How selfish of me, or big-headed. I don't know what that is. Anyway, wow, you just don't know where life's going to take you. If anything from this, I can learn, continue to stay open, to say yes, to listen to the people around me. Things do happen for a reason. Sometimes it's really hard to figure out what those reasons are, but wow, thank you to Natalie. I cannot express how much she has had an influence on my life. She's such a good soul. She is a beautiful person, and I'm so grateful for the friendship that we have. Like we said, we won't leave it another 26 years before we are in each other's company again. Please share this episode with somebody that you care about, and remember, keep listening, and buen camino.